Welcome Gemini to your monthly horoscope for October for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. And briefly, I'd like to tell you about my year 2021 personal horoscope special offer. You can order now in 2020 and get the rest of this year free, plus the whole of the 12 months from the 1st of January and your character analysis, and get 30% off. But this is based on your time, date and place of birth, so ascending above your zodiac sign, and can give you incredible insights into what is upcoming next year. Now, in terms of this month, as this month begins, your ruling planet of Mercury is in shadow, and it will actually go retrograde on the 14th of the month in the sign of Scorpio. Now, we all know that Scorpio energy is deep and passionate and potentially transforming, and for you, this is the part of your situation that's to do with the detail of things. So details generally are going to need a little bit of care and attention to detail with this in process. But I'm a great believer that Mercury retrogrades offer us great opportunities. So if you can find ways to refine the practical structure of your situation, in terms of your thinking, discussion or plans, obviously coming through Mercury, I think that's going to be a great thing to do. Now this month also has two full moons, one on the first day, on the 1st of the month, and the second on the last day, the 31st. Now the first one occurs in the sign of Aries. Now Aries energy for you is very much about your future plans. It's about your group affiliations, your higher knowledge, your instincts in terms of your direction of travel for your future hopes. So I think it's possible that some kind of rejigging your time management could be possible in the first couple of weeks of this month. But because this particular full moon is also in a square to Mars and Pluto, the big hitting higher octave planets in the sign of Capricorn, which is very much to do with intense involvements, shared resources, business matters, finance, pensions, investments, all this kind of stuff. I do feel that when it comes to your direction of travel, around those areas, you can't afford to be too idealistic as you come into this month, particularly if there's someone that you would like to collaborate with, because that person could turn out to be a little bit disappointing, not reach your expectations. So do keep your feet very much on the ground. However, it is true that Mars in your 11th house, along with this full moon, is clashing with Pluto for the first 3 weeks of this month. Now these two are the rulers of Scorpio, so this is very intense energy, and it's possible that you could be attracted to someone in your friendship group. Now whether this would be a good relationship for either of you in the long term, only you could say, but a highly charged atmosphere around an intimate involvement can follow from this particular planetary angle, whether it's with somebody new or in an existing relationship. And romance is definitely going to be in the equation this month for you, because the Sun starts the month in the sign of Libra, your sister air sign, and that's very much about the joys of life, your self-expression. If you have children, what they're doing creatively may be something that really is going to grab your attention this month. But also on the 28th, Mercury is going to invert from the sign of Scorpio, where it goes retrograde from the 14th, into the sign of Libra. And Venus, the ruler of Libra, moves into the sign of Virgo, your 4th solar house, on the 3rd of this month, suggesting that if you are creative, it wouldn't be a surprise if it was on something such as a home crafting or hobby working type of project. But from the 28th, Venus also moves into its home sign of Libra, and that's going to give you a fabulous opportunity to connect to someone that you do feel an attraction towards, but just be conscious of the politics. I think that clustering of energy, which intensifies from the 8th through to the 21st, clustering of energy in the sign of Capricorn is then in a square with the Sun in Libra. So your desire to be self-expressive, get a return on it, creative in terms of money, that could be challenged, that could cause some tension, or it could be a romantic involvement is quite highly charged, even in terms of attraction. It may be that you're drawn towards somebody that you don't actually like very much, but you might find them very compelling. There may be something about their energy that's very deep, intense, but also quite hard to resist in some way. So I think perhaps it is going to be important to be careful what you wish for this month, for sure, around your love life. But I think the new moon, which occurs on the 16th, ordinarily for you would be fabulous. This is very much about showcasing your talents, but also feeling good about your personal appearance, your presentation, your attractiveness. And it can be boosted by this new moon, for sure, in the following month. But guess what? It's squaring up to Saturn and Pluto in that 8th solar house. So I think with the full moon, which occurs on the 1st, followed by this complex new moon on the 16th, you can't really take your eye off what's going on in the sign of Capricorn. And that really is the supercharged part of your scope. And of course, over the last couple of years, even though Pluto's been there since 2008, Saturn's been there since December 2017, apart from the 22nd of March to the 2nd of August earlier this year when it moved into Aquarius. Well, that energy has perhaps provided some kind of limitation around the reward side of life. So even if you've been working very hard, there may have been some insecurity around a business situation. And of course, COVID hasn't helped anyone, or very few people, in that regard. But you know, as the month moves on, Venus moves from the 18th through to the 24th into actually a glorious angle with those planets in Capricorn. And if there's something you're doing to where you're living, some kind of transformation can occur, which absolutely thrills you. And whether you're beautifying what you've already got through some kind of cosmetic improvement, you know, redecorating, soft furnishings, or it is something more structural, something that occurs around that time could really give you a lot of satisfaction. But then on the 23rd, Mercury inverses into your 5th house. If you are looking to have a date or get together with someone, or have some fun, or some date time with an existing partner, or create space with your children, there is the potential for some crosswires, late last minute cancellations, and those kind of snags and niggles. But I always feel that with Mercury retrograde, we have to accept that it happens 3 times a year. This retrograde season this year all happens in water signs, apart from this brief period of reversing into the sign of Libra. And that in itself provides quite a lot of complexity, because for you being an air sign, you like things clear and logical. So the retrogrades in the water signs of Pisces, Cancer and now Scorpio creates a sploshy, rather less clear set of information, if you like. So I think Mercury going retrograde in Libra briefly, it's going to be going through the whole process and coming out of shadow on the 19th of November, does give you a chance actually to make a bit more sense of something that you do need to grapple with of a more practical nature. But then on the 28th, not just does Mercury move into the sign of Libra, but so does Venus, and this is excellent for you. So if there is someone that you're really wanting to woo or impress, you're absolutely going to be full of a real presence, and you may well give yourself some kind of stylish makeover as this month draws to a close. Now, it is true that Mercury gets challenged by Saturn in the last 4 days of this month. In a natal chart, people have squares, oppositions, and sometimes conjunctions between Mercury and Saturn. It does make them potentially inclined to see a little bit more of the downside. I think really it's just asking you to balance how much time and energy you're going to invest in something that's creative by being also mindful of the practical benefits that you're going to gain, which comes through Capricorn, which is Earth, and the 8th house, which is very much to do with longer term loot or a more spiritual gain through a change. So just be conscious of that. Which brings us to the last day of this month and a glorious blue moon. Yes, this blue moon occurs in the sign of Taurus, but it's going to be conjunct Uranus. And Uranus generally is going to potentially make you a little bit restless for the next 5 or 6 years. It has done really since the middle of May 2018 to the middle of November 2018, and from March the 7th 2019. It does depend exactly where you have personal planets in your natal chart, whether you have more than just the sun, but also where the sun is. So Uranus being tucked up in your 12th solar house as far as solar astrology is concerned is generally quite a hard to pinpoint restlessness. So I do feel that watch out for someone around your work. They may not be quite as much on your side as you might hope, or there can be something that changes quite suddenly in terms of your psychology, which influences the more practical dimension of your situation. But this is really going to show itself most keenly, I think, in the first 2 weeks of November. But certainly as this month draws to a close, I think you need to look after yourself, get some early nights, say no to anything that doesn't really excite you, or if you feel you're getting pulled out from what you really want to do for yourself, stick to your plan, but also be aware that something could come up which is an opportunity, but it may come up almost out of the blue, which can make it exciting, but also a bit unsettling too. This month also sees Jupiter and Neptune continuing a glorious link. I think they're saying to you that you're wanting to find a way forwards around your finances, which really makes you feel at peace with yourself, the more spiritual side of your nature. But it's trying to fit your creativity, which is strongly aroused this month, and your romantic hopes, if that's important to you, with what works in a physical way, that energy in Saturn. And of course, because Jupiter's in the sign in Capricorn, and of course Jupiter's there as well, but its angle with Neptune can actually see you doing well around a commercial endeavour if you're staying in touch with your more spiritual hopes. But it's just keeping it all balanced, and that could prove a little bit challenging this month as far as other people are concerned, because the 8th house, which is being evoked by Capricorn, is very much where we're invested with others. It's not just money, it is our time, it is our emotions. And so the most intense ties you have are going to have an impact on your creative hopes and also your love hopes, and ultimately your business ones too. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Please check out the offer beneath this video. But for now, stay safe, take care, good luck, and goodbye.